Sometimes in war, you gotta do a bad thing to do good. This is my friend Jim. Welcome to Legends of Gotham, where we talk about Fox's new series Gotham, set in the world of Batman. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And we actually have stuff to talk about. Like,
what?
I was so afraid that we weren't going to be able to have enough content to come out with another episode until right before the premiere.
And then they released 4 mini extended clips,
or a full special, like behind the scenes special, depending on how you got it. Because if you got it off of iTunes, it's one like 22 minute piece, and then YouTube, it's
4 different
clips. We're going to have links to both a playlist that was actually provided to us by the production house who made it, I believe.
Thank you.
Of all 4 parts, and a link to the iTunes. But the special is called The Legend Reborn, and it's all about the making of Gotham. And it was a lot of fun to watch. We watched through it a couple times, and I guess we'll be talking about it.
Is it next month yet? We have 1 month and counting, and I cannot wait.
I know. I am so excited for the show, and the excitement's starting to ramp up too. We're actually already talking to some of the other people who are planning on doing a podcast about Gotham. So we're going to have a big kind of roundtable, meet everybody, meet the whole family.
Hi, how are you?
Let's get this community started. But not too murky.
But
I guess we'll go ahead and get started talking about the special. And like I said, if you haven't seen the special, highly recommend you watch it.
Yes.
You can find the links in the show notes for this episode 4, at legendsofgotham.com. Okay, first off, and Anne-Marie was kind of surprised that I decided to lead with this.
I am and I'm not, because it was one of my points in my notes. But
this was actually one of my the most interesting things to me about the special was the Barbara character, who's the main. Was it his
the main
wife?
Squeeze? No,
it's not his wife yet. Yeah, it's his girlfriend. But Gordon's girlfriend, Barbara. Where have we heard the name Barbara Gordon before? I don't know. But apparently she's the daughter of someone high up in Gotham society. They don't really say who. I think they might have given. Do you remember what her last name is?
I don't remember.
Here, look that up while I'm talking, if you can. Just go to IMDb or something.
Oh, okay, thanks. I had no idea how to look something up on the internet.
Yeah, if you didn't know, IMDb to look stuff up. But it was really interesting because it says she's the daughter of a social, big hotty-totty social guy there, and that she's hiding something from Jim Gordon, which I thought was really interesting because I thought it was just going to be kind of like a very kind of, this is just the love interest, whatever. But no, it sounds like there's
the love interest. Sorry.
It sounds like there's a really big plot there that is going to get teased out through the whole season. And the thing that really shocked me about it is that apparently Renee Montoya is involved with it. She's not only in there.
Barbara Keene.
Keene, like how's it spelled?
Kean.
Kean. See, that almost sounds like Kane. That reminds me of Kathy Kane, which which is Batwoman in the Batman comics, which brings this all around because Montoya knows Barbara pretty well, and she's warning Barbara away from Jim Gordon. And so I'm wondering what exactly is going on there. Why is Montoya so against Gordon, and why is she so close with Barbara, who's hiding something, right? And I don't know if you're familiar with the Renee Montoya character too much from the comics.
Nah.
But she was one of the first big lesbian characters that DC had. So I almost wonder if maybe there might be some sort of like relationship between her and Barbara, like in the past somewhere, especially if Barbara's last name is Kean, which is kind of like an inversion of Kane, because in the comics, Renee Montoya goes out with Batwoman, Kathy Kane. Like they date for a long time until I forget what happens, but then Batwoman starts going out with Maggie Sawyer from the Superman comics, who was kind of like the Montoya of Superman the animated series, which is weird. But
and there's your comic book history for the day, folks.
Yeah, but I thought I thought Barbara was really interesting. I myself was shocked that I was so intrigued by what they had to say.
I'm really
about
shocked that you are.
It just felt like something that's going to have some major impact.
Huge. Yeah. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to build up there.
It's going to go kaplowy.
Plus, it was cool, to see that Montoya is going to be majorly involved since the actress who plays her has been, talking with us on Twitter today. So that's fun, too. Okay,
you have been like all over Twitter today.
I have a bit, just a bit. Legends of Gotham is their Twitter, by the way, if you want to follow us.
Come join the party. Okay, my first thing, and again, claiming my complete ignorance on comic book everything. Are Alfred and Gordon typically so not friendly?
No, I'm sure it's probably just a situation where Alfred's looking out for his charge, and Gordon's trying to prove himself and also, help that kid.
Okay, because it's just like, dear Alfred, someone else is trying to help take care of this kid whose parents have just been killed, and he's been playing up on the roof.
Yeah.
You might need some help.
And playing with candles.
But yeah, I'm like, he's got a big spot on his hand.
But I think this is the first time we've actually got a chance to see Alfred's portrayal.
Yes.
And it was phenomenal.
You don't think I told him that? Oh, hey, Alfred, chill. It's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And that's Sean Pertwee, right? Which is
I don't know.
Which is the son of, I believe, the fourth Doctor. Doctor Who. No, but I really enjoyed him as Alfred. But yeah, they definitely did seem to have an adversarial relationship, and I wonder. I know they're planning on focusing on the Gordon Bruce Wayne relationship a lot, but I don't know how much Alfred's going to play in. Like I've actually been kind of worried about that, just because we've hardly seen any of them at all. But we got a little more in this little preview.
And by
special.
A little more, you mean 2 sentences?
Yes, at least 2 sentences, possibly 3.
Possibly three.
Yeah, but that was really cool. Now, something that it was a big focus. I think it was on either the second or the third part of this. Third part. Was Gotham City itself. Like, if you know the comics or really any version of the story, Gotham City is as much of a character and is as important to the story as Batman himself.
Yeah.
And in fact, in a lot of ways, Gotham City is an extension of Batman, like his spirit form or whatever, But,
Gotham is his spirit animal.
Exactly. But they had they took a lot of time to talk about the design and their thought process going into it for Gotham City. And a couple of things that I thought I would point out. One, they said they were trying to base it on the New York of the 70s, kind of like the Serpico, kind of very just like dangerous. I had trench coats. What else was in New York in the 70s?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Not cats, because that was the 80s. Well, there is a cat in this.
There is a cat.
Connection. No, but they were trying to base it on New York in the 70s, which, obviously they're shooting it in New York, so they're really kind of trying to play that through.
Right.
And they also said that they wanted to focus on finding parts of New York, and when constructing sets, adding in CGI parts and everything, they wanted to go for a timeless look, a timeless feel, with a sense of being modern too.
I think they're really doing that well.
Mm-hmm. And that's also something, I've watched a lot of behind the scenes documentaries and stuff on Batman the Animated Series, and that's something they said they really focused on their design on Batman the Animated Series too. They wanted something that was timeless, that felt like it could have been from any era of the comics, but at the same time they wanted to have more modern conveniences, like, this was done back in the 90s, so VCRs and stream machines, stuff like that.
A microwave.
But they a lot of the visual design style was based on like 1940s Art Deco kind of stuff, where in this, more New York in the 70s. Yeah. Yeah, the Serpico, the White Shadow, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, very cool. And they also showed like a before and after of the police precinct set.
So cool.
Which is just huge. Like, it's a 2-level set, huge, out in this big studio space. And it looks like they spent a lot of attention to detail and kind of like micro sections of it and everything.
It took them 10 weeks to build, and for just one set, the amount of detail they must have put into it is insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just going because really the only cop show I've watched in great detail was The Shield, and in The Shield, the precinct room, the building. Oh, I forget. I'm I'm blanking on the name right now. They had a nickname. Oh,
there's going to be a lot of tweets on this.
But it was an old converted church, and it was very, very important to the series. Like, it was another character, more or less. And they spent a lot of time in the first season defining like all these little areas where they could do scene work and stuff like that. And I could definitely see that in the design. Especially when they had the wide shot on the room. Where there were like little stations where they could set stuff up.
Of course.
And it looked like it might have even been influenced a little by the Shield too, because in the Shield they had a big pen in the middle of the precinct.
Oh, really?
Where they kept prisoners, and it looks like in this preview, Jim Gordon stops a criminal who gets a cop's gun right by the same kind of little pen, which is super weird because I believe in the Shield almost an exact same kind of situation happened.
It's a good story. It's a good story.
I mean, how else are you going to create drama in a police precinct, which is generally a pretty safe space? Someone's got to get a gun.
Not if you don't watch enough cop shows. It's not a safe location. You are not safe surrounded by cops. I promise you.
The cops will not keep you safe, especially in Gotham. But you had some stuff you wanted to speak to about the design too, right?
Right. Like I know a lot of shows, the special and visual effects, because they were very specific that those are two very different things. They're not distracting so far. Like, I mean, obviously we're getting a lot of background and we're not getting finished product.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like when they were doing like basically peeling back the onion with the gargoyles and stuff, those 70s elements kind of, I wasn't distracted with or without them, but you could feel it really did build on the Gotham versus like it took it from New York to Gotham.
Yeah,
by adding that layer.
It definitely especially like you said with the gargoyles and some of the stuff they even did with like some of the like arches and things like that.
Right.
It felt like comic book Gotham.
And the smoke and there's lots of rain and smoke, like rain, smoke, and water. We have these effects every day.
I'm glad they had like such an attention to detail. Even go instead of like I mean they're doing this for Fox TV, so I'm sure Fox has like just dozens of hours of helicopter footage of New York City lying around, but they wanted to go out and get their own original stuff, so they had a unique look that no one would. They would look unlike anything else on TV. Well, it was
what they knew they were gonna want. Like it's. Who wants to use stock if you have the option to shoot your own?
Yeah,
you never want to use like.
And the nice thing with an element like that too, what they probably did, and this is all conjecture, but they probably rented a helicopter for a day or two or three, and just went and got a bunch of stuff that they'll use through the entire series.
Right.
So it's just one time cost, and they can use that for anything.
They can write that budget line item over the next 5 years or so. Some other things that they pointed out, and I really liked that they had like 1.5 to 2 of these really focused on the technical aspects.
Because that's something that doesn't get a lot of play, especially in the build up to promotion for a show.
Correct. It doesn't, and just coming from having a theater background, you can appreciate it so much more. Like that's probably why but not too murky stuck out so much for us.
And what we're referencing is there's the guy who's he's
in
kind
charge
of
of the water.
He's like the physical effects guy. It seemed like, and he was just like, then you get this water and it's clean, but it's got to be murky, but not too murky.
Not too murky.
And we just cracked up both times we watched it.
Yes, and obviously we're going to continue to do that, just like we do young Bruce screaming.
But more of that guy, definitely.
But more of
and
that
your
guy.
behind the scenes stuff,
please.
Gotham people.
I loved, and you can already feel the different tones and energies. Like they were like, there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this. It's running the whole gamut. And you can feel that already, and how the energy of the city feeds into the show. You can't film this show anywhere but New York.
Yeah.
This cannot be filmed in Boston, Vancouver, LA. It's just, it's not a San Antonio type of show.
One thing I would say, you can maybe do Chicago, because so many people have Chicago associated with Gotham City from the Dark Knight movies anyway.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of the Gotham stuff was shot in Chicago. I guess, well, for the last one, a lot was shot in Pittsburgh too.
Whoop, whoop.
But that I think most of the stuff they shot in Pittsburgh was the year later stuff after Bane had taken over the city and it had been under like cut off from the rest of the world.
This
Dark Knight Rises. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't my favorite.
I have not seen it.
But yeah, what were we even talking about? But New York.
Yes, I think it needed to be filmed in New York.
Yeah.
And I think it helps the actors get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, isn't New York sometimes called Gotham?
Yeah, well, in the comics, what a lot of creators, kind of the philosophy they go by is Gotham City is New York at nighttime, and then Metropolis is New York during the day.
Interesting.
That's kind of like the breakdown generally. Obviously, there's daytime scenes all through this and everything, but that's kind of like the spiritual kind of thing. And I think New York in the 70s is probably a better descriptor of what Gotham is in the comics.
Dirty and grimy.
Than even New York during the night, because I mean New York's a lot safer now than it was in the 70s.
Everything's safer.
Like you can walk down the street without getting killed sometimes, which is better than always getting killed.
Right. I'd hate to always get killed.
Speaking of not getting killed, though, one person who won't be getting killed.
Worst transition ever.
Exactly. One person who won't be getting killed in this series is James Gordon, because he's the main character.
You know what? Let me just sort of bounce off of that. We know that pretty much none of these characters are going to die.
Yeah,
this is one show.
Fish Mooney's not safe.
Fish Mooney's dying. Sorry, Fish. Sorry, Jada. I really love you.
I would say that even Bullock could potentially be on the chopping block.
I could see that.
Even though he appears in a lot of the adult Batman mythos, sometimes he doesn't too. So, and I mean, he's expendable. Penguin's not expendable.
No, none of them are expendable. Mm-hmm. Other than, Fish and Bullock, I guess. But I like.
Yeah, it's
like them.
One of those things. Like, on one hand, you're like, will that rob the show of some of the drama if you know most of the characters are safe?
Because they can bring other people in to kill.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, because we do another podcast for Once Upon a Time, and they have recently killed off one of my favorite characters, and it's very tragic. Yes. But I know that most of the people, if I get connected to them on this one, they will make it through the finale. So that is nice.
Just find your characters to hook into.
Everybody hook into your characters. They will live.
But
not Fish, probably.
Back to my original point, though.
Sorry, yes, this was your point, wasn't it?
I finally feel like I have a hook into Ben McKenzie and the Gordon character. Because, even with all the preview clips and everything we've gotten and all the little, vignettes, I never really felt like I knew Gordon very well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and for the first time after, the very detailed scenes with him sitting. But the detailed scenes with him sitting there describing the character, the thought process behind everything going on with it. And then, just the random scenes we got to see. I feel like I know him a lot better now. A couple things that kind of struck me, very superficial things I thought I'd mention. For one, I really like his portrayal so far. But for two, these really superficial things that kind of stuck out to me. One, his expressions really reminded me of Jim from The Office. It might have been just because of the sit-down interview style of a lot of the stuff. And his voice.
You didn't capitalize The Office in the document, so I'm like, what is he talking about?
No, The Office, the TV show The Office.
Hilarious, because that was the only character I liked on that show.
But his voice reminded me of Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. It might be because I was watching that new cartoon with Aaron Paul that came up on Netflix today. It's something about a horse guy.
You were watching cartoons on Netflix today?
I had them playing while I was doing some other stuff.
Oh, okay.
But his voice, his accent reminded me of Aaron Paul.
Interesting.
A lot. And he also, and they kind of mentioned this a little bit when I believe it was the director talking about why they picked Ben for the part, Ben McKenzie. But he really reminded me of a stereotypical 50s kid all grown up, crew-cutted kid.
Yeah.
But he's
coming right out of the military.
Yeah, which I guess makes sense to a degree. But still just kind of like that look in his eyes too. He kind of had that kind of straight-laced look, which is the character and the plot of the show. Right. So I guess that makes sense.
I had classic values shine through. This is what happens when I'm trying to write down 6 different quotes at the same time, but it works. It works. You can definitely see, because they were talking about how he's that classic kind of clean-cut actor as a person.
Yeah.
And that was part of their choosing him because those were the elements they wanted him to bring to it. And nails it.
Oh yeah, you can definitely see what they were talking about, like specifically in the video that was playing underneath it while they were talking about it.
Right. Where are my origin stories? Okay.
Orangish stories?
Right, orangish. Okay, the first thing, I actually wrote these in the wrong order, but how do we not have origin stories for all of these people with how long Batman's been around?
Well, see, I was going to mention that because if you guys didn't notice, Jeff Johns in there, he's the chief creative officer over at DC, which means he writes 1 or 2 comics a month, and then he spends the rest of his time flying around to, Zack Snyder's pad, or talking with Ben McKenzie, or talking to that Arrow fellow over on the CW.
That Arrow fellow.
Making sure everything's on brand and everything fits up right and everything. And when he said that, at first I was like, Jeff, I think you wrote an origin story for one of these characters at some point or something. But then I was thinking, no, he's probably talking about on screen. Specifically with live action.
Well, but it wasn't him who said it.
No, well, he said it too.
Did he say it?
Yeah, he said,
because I know Jada said it a lot. That's what stuck in my head.
Yeah, but he said it too. But I think they were talking on screen, and they're probably talking in detail too. Because I was thinking about it. The only on screen origin we've got for the Penguin was in Batman Returns, and it's just like this real quick, 10-minute thing right at the beginning where he's a baby, and then flash forward 20 years or whatever.
Baby thing.
Oh, and Paul Rubens played his dad, Pee-wee, which was fun.
And that's where I lost it.
And the Riddler always has in any version of Batman, he has a decent origin story, but we've never got that again in live action.
The Riddler reminds me of one of my former bosses.
Really?
It's really it's a little distracting.
You.
It's a little distracting. I'm just staring at him going, hey, this isn't what you left to do.
Maybe it was.
No, he was too quiet.
No, but there have been origin stories, especially in the comics. There's been several takes on origin stories. And
that was the part I was really confused by. But I mean, I know there's sort of, you always, with every reincarnation of any show, especially with so much history, you kind of have to do your own twist. Otherwise, it's not fresh and exciting.
Yeah, plus I kind of got the impression that they were talking we've never really got this in the popular conscious.
Right.
Where big Batman fans might know that the Riddler's named Edward Nygma, or, big comic book fans or big superhero movie fans might know this stuff. The general person on the street doesn't.
I.e. me.
Yeah, and that's what the series is for.
The series is completely aimed at me.
Although, like you said, they're going to be doing different takes on stuff. Like the Poison Ivy thing looks like it's going to be completely different from what one would expect.
I'm okay with that.
Stuff. But
I had a few other things.
Yeah,
like I said, I put this in wrong order. Just some of the things that sort of stuck out that they had said is we're sort of going to find out why these normal people turn psycho. I enjoy that because they really do all look fairly normal, minus Fish and Penguin.
You know what I just thought about?
No, I don't. But you definitely just had a light bulb go off.
I did just have a light bulb go off. What do you generally feed penguins?
Ooh, fish.
Fish. Looks like a penguin has a meal coming up. I mean, that's kind of what they're aiming for with him too. He's
turning on her from the very beginning.
Well, he's just trying to manipulate his way to actually, big bold prediction here after having just seen the preview special. What's going to happen right at the end?
The end of what?
The season.
Thank you.
Fish is going to spend the entire season claiming power. She's going to get it. Then the Penguin's going to stab her in the back.
Literally.
Yeah, probably. And take over in her stead. That's my prediction for the season.
Yeah, it's going to be something like that.
Yeah, I would assume.
And sort of the last one on that is you can never tell in Gotham. It changes people because they were talking about how somebody could be completely good, gold, and squeaky clean. That's the person that's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Or the person that is already so corrupt and cranky and horrible is going to be the hero.
It's Chinatown. It's not just a city. It's an event. It's like a life event.
It's a life-affirming event.
Okay, let's see here. And they had just a couple little drops, clues for what's going to go down in the first episode.
You mean like the sentence, we open with?
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, we would love to do a spoiler-free review episode or review of the first episode.
Just throwing that out there.
If anybody out there has any contacts at Fox or Fox PR or anything who could get us, we could sign... We'll sign things up to 1,000 contracts in order to be able to see the pilot a little bit early, get that spoiler-free review out there. But they did give us a couple clues as to what's going to happen in the pilot here. First off, a couple of Catwoman, or Selena Kyle, I guess they'll probably call her Catgirl. But
can't help it.
But a couple clues to what she's going to be doing the first episode. One, they say that the first episode opens with her on a rooftop, which is cool. And that's where they're talking about the gargoyles and the stuff they added. Yeah. And that they also show that she is present at the Wayne murder, which why is she there?
Because she's already stalking Bruce Wayne.
It makes me almost wonder if she's working involved for Fish or something. Again, what do cats eat? Fish. I think we figured it out.
I'm sorry, but a 14-year-old girl is not killing Fish Mooney.
Well, Penguin might have her help, Yeah. Because who would suspect a 14-year-old girl?
It's true.
Yeah.
A pickpocket, too.
See, this is why I'm glad we got all this footage, because now we can start
We actually have something to talk about.
It's not just, look, here's all this news, and then we'll talk about another Batman story, because we don't have a story to talk about right now.
One thing I'm really looking forward to that we haven't gotten, sorry, just jumping on your point. I want to see more of the Selena Kyle stuff. All we've really seen her do is lurk.
Yeah, I don't think we've even got like a line from her or anything.
Not a single audible tone. She hasn't even meowed.
And speaking of as far as clues to the first episodes or whatever, I have a feeling that we're not going to be seeing the Riddler or the Poison Ivy anytime soon.
No,
just because we're getting nothing. We're getting nothing from them in these episodes. Like, I think the only indication I've seen that either of them are even going to be in the first episode is that one promo they have where they're walking through the crime scene.
Yes, that's the one I was
Riddler's standing there.
Yeah,
but that's not necessarily how it's actually
the scene that never happened. Or
yeah. I mean, that was very obviously shot for the promo. I mean, probably based on an actual scene in the show.
Yes,
but
there was a point of. I don't remember where it was in there. Because isn't the Riddler part of the police force in some way, shape, or form?
That's what it appears they're going for. That he's going to be like.
I'm pretty sure I saw him in the precinct.
Yeah,
so I think he's going to make an appearance. And also, per the IMDb, they already have like the credit for the first episode. They're going to at least make an appearance.
Well, IMDb is kind of hit and miss, though.
Okay, you're the one who directed me to IMDb. So,
well, I was just looking for the character's last name, though. That has a better chance of being accurate. But yeah, in the comics, how he is now is that he's a private, and he's a good guy in the comics now, kind of. I believe. Might have changed since New 52. But he's basically a private investigator now. So I'd assume that might be where they're starting him from. Kind of the private investigator thing.
I could see that.
But there was a villain in here that we did get a lot of that you rather liked.
I did. I am so excited about Robin Lloyd Taylor, a.k.a. the Penguin. His acting, his just speaking in interview is exciting. And like, I'm already completely enthralled with him and Jada's scenes together. We haven't gotten much. We've gotten a lot of the same scene over and over again.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited.
Oh, yeah, when he's like, I'll open a vein for you.
Yeah, and she's like, do it. God, here's a butter knife.
And he's like,
I kill you, fish. I kill you. No, I think, and not that I'm not excited for everybody else. I feel like this is the character this is the actor that's going to get nominated for something.
Oh yeah,
his portrayal, he's getting nominated for something in an awards show next year.
Yeah, not to take away anything from anybody else, obviously, who appeared, but he just looks like he's going to be the standout performance.
He's blowing me away, and
just a little bit we've got
just a little bit we've seen, yeah.
Just so creepy and manipulative, but looks timid and like neutered at the same time.
The perfect balance of every possible emotion, even, and having those different tactics. The tactics he's working, again, theater background, sorry, he's taking the right beats. Stuff like that. Like, you can see the tactics.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So, really excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, and they do a really good job with kind of just his general look, too, because I don't know if you've seen pictures of just the actor.
Without the nose?
Without the nose, without the hair, without all that. Like he looks completely different. Yeah. Completely different. They do a great job. Okay, just a couple things words they used in this that really stuck out to me is like, okay, they're right in my wheelhouse. They're right where I want them to be for this series. Theatrical, for
obviously.
One. They talked about how all the villains and all the characters in general are very theatrical, which is cool. And then they also really hit a couple times a mythic world. Mm-hmm. And that's what's always separated DC Comics from Marvel Comics.
Here we go.
And it's not like even like a DC versus Marvel thing. It's just like the difference between the two. Mm-hmm. Marvel is sci-fi. DC is mythology. And this is if DC is mythology, Batman is the Lord of the Underworld, Hades, and this is the origin of the Underworld. Mm-hmm. And makes me very excited. And the last line that got me really excited in this, but not too murky. And
you'll learn that we find a bit and we stick with it.
Yeah, and we drive it into the ground.
Yeah, we will be doing but not too murky until the finale.
Yeah, probably.
Gus. The last thing that sort of kind of stuck with me, that they basically said they we're looking for a fresh way into the DC universe, and this seemed like that entryway, which means we're going to be getting more shows and movies and stories. And I know things have been announced and all that sort of stuff, but that this is like their portal.
Yeah.
And that they already have a plan to expand on it.
Yeah, I would definitely, as we move on into season 2, 3, 4, I would love to see a lot more elements that we're familiar with, like maybe like Ted Grant Wildcat. I believe he's a Gotham-based character. Some version of like a Birds of Prey or Black Canary. And I mean, that's all later on in Bruce Wayne's timeline too. But they can set them up.
Right.
Like they can have young Black Canary, I don't know, shouting at somebody. But and not even just Gotham-based characters. I mean, they could bring in, basically they could do like Dr. Fate, and since I think actually Dr. Fate's in Constantine, which is on NBC, which is another DC thing. So they'll probably keep all the mystical stuff over there. I'm just excited.
I'm just really excited too.
This preview,
we needed this.
Yeah, definitely, because
we were slacking and lagging, and I didn't want to watch other things. I was a little resistant, sorry, but because I like to just go, like I just want to dive in and watch this because I really like police dramas, like a lot.
Yeah, and probably a bit of it too is we decided to do this podcast early, like we decided back in January. I believe that we wanted to do this podcast and got the domain name and everything.
No, we decided we wanted to do this podcast before it was confirmed that they were making the show.
Yeah, back when it was just like a very well-reviewed pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we've been excited for a while.
We were super excited, and then like all summer excitement was kind of going down because we were getting stuff, but nothing terribly new or exciting.
And then Comic-Con was like nothing.
Yeah, but then we got this half-hour special, and we loved it. We absolutely loved it. I normally we do arbitrary scales to rate things. I think whatever arbitrary scale I would pick, we would both give it a perfect.
Like a 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up is fun.
Yep, here he goes. He's thinking.
2 flippers up for Penguin.
Oh, 2 flippers up.
2 flippers up. For,
you can't see, but we're clapping our flippers.
Party.
We're clapping our flippers.
Now, like I said at the beginning, you can find links both over on YouTube and to the iTunes that has the whole thing as one piece. Our website, legendsofgotham.com. And you can also, we'd love to know what you thought about it.
What are you feeling right now?
Yeah, anything that stuck out to you. And obviously, we'll address that. Any feedback we get on the next episode. You can email us, legendsofgotham@gmail.com. The Twitter's @legendsofgotham. Facebook is facebook.com/Legends of Gotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. It will say you're calling Greetings from Storybrooke, which is our other podcast. Don't worry. It's going to the right place.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, what's that name there?
I don't know. Who is it?
Craig McNair.
Why are you opening
Just followed
things?
us on Twitter. He's an egg. Okay.
He's an egg.
Well, welcome to following us on Twitter, Craig McNair.
Thank you, Craig McNair.
But Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
Oh, you can find me a couple of places. I'm over on Twitter at DeSimone. I also have a blog that's DIY recipes and lots of reviews and stuff at crunchycrafty.com.
Okay, and as for me, you can find me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. My Google Plus account is google.com/+BillMeeks. And I write novels about a teenage superhero named Dog Boy. Not Catgirl, Dog Boy. New one's out. You can find that. It's set in an amusement park. It's kind of fun. bit.ly/demonsdare.
What you can't see is when he decided to start talking about Dog Boy, he picked up the book and was showing it to me like I've never seen it.
I picked up the paperback copy of the book I have here. But no, we'll probably, if nothing else, we'll definitely be back for our Gotham Podcasters Roundtable.
Yeah, same difference.
That would be the very latest we'll be back, which I'm going to try and schedule out about a week before, yeah. But we might be back with a spoiler party before then, and we still will be definitely doing Batman Year One.
Are we?
We just have to find a guest to come join us to talk about it.
Would you like to be our guest?
Yeah.
Please contact us at legendsofgotham@gmail.com.
Exactly. But yeah, we still haven't figured out a way to close this out yet.
No,
don't
it's
think.
really awkward.
So I guess, until next time.
No,
that's how
wrong
we close out the other one.
Character bleed.
Join us next time for more Legends of Gotham.